Hello, and welcome back to the SWAN pricing show. The show where we talk about pricing expertise-based services, and we call them the SWAN case, and not the commoditized services, which we call the duck case. My name is Filip Fucic. I'm a pricing mentor.
And I'm Filip Zolot. I'm the CEO and the owner of Growth Marketing Agency Malaya.
And today we're going to talk about, let's say, price-borne messaging. So the message that you can be conveying with your price. Because, and let me get this clear first. In the duck world, in the commoditized space, mostly what you want to convey with your messaging is, we are the best buy. We, however we price, we try to get to that ideal peak between what you price and what you get, right? What you pay and what you get, which is also commonly known as the best buy. So even people who are really cheap try to say, yeah, but actually you're getting a really good deal for this. This is the best deal that you can get. And of course you can sometimes go for this as an expert, a provider of expertise-based services, but this is by far not the only one that you can make. So you can price something to be friendly priced. I don't recommend it, but you can. You can price something to be exclusive. Mm-hmm. You can price something to be mysterious. You can price something in a way that will probably deter the kind of clients that you don't want to talk about or don't want to talk to, right? Or in your case, right? When you price based on value, the whole idea is that the price is something that they could have gone lower, so they could have found somebody cheaper, right?
Absolutely.
Whether that would be a good thing to do, probably not. And if they went with you, they also know it, and then as a reference, everybody else knows it. So wait. There's something beyond price that affected this decision, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a message in and of itself, right? I don't know. Do you have? So do you talk about how much you charged other clients to new clients, or like ballpark level or something?
We are very transparent in communication, because no matter, for example, the clients are within the same niche, the scope, level of engagement, and complexity of their specification scenario is never the same. There is no one turnkey solution which will cover them all, practically put it there as a plug and play solution. So every time we use the pricing, the engagement, and the budget as only orientational tool to give them proper information and place them in the spot where they can properly understand, this is something which we can expect for this specific time frame, for this period, etc., etc., etc. And colleagues within the same niche had something kind of similar, not necessarily price-wise, but scope-wise overall, because we always communicate two key components. One thing is our expertise, engagement, and fees, and another thing is actually having the budget for technical deployment, for marketing activities, for media buying, and everything else. Those are two elements which are being communicated separately in that terms, and we always focus on the amount which we should pour into their business, surely being defined by their existing state and what they want to achieve as a long-term plan with their business.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it signals a degree of confidence for sure. Yeah. We already talked about this. And confidence in a way infers competence, because of course you can be confident and not be competent, but that's not going to last for long, right? something is going to, so the first, the first stronger wind will get you to market wind will get you to crash down, right? So if somebody has prices up and they convey confidence, they're probably competent. They wouldn't get away with it that easily, right? Until proven otherwise. So when you're choosing your price, you have to understand what you're saying with it, right? So I think we already poo-pooed the prices that end up in 97 and or 31 or whatever. And so this is also a kind of message that you're sending. So if you send me a bill for 793 and 72, you're telling me that you feel the need to nickel and dime, that that this is all very, very strenuous and very, very tight, and you couldn't really you can't really afford to just say, yeah, it's 8,000.
Yeah, but one interesting thing is people who are setting up those prices, they're thinking, we're communicating how we are precise and devoted to the project. But actually, the result is the opposite, as you mentioned. Wrong signal, completely wrong signal.
It's a good signal for the duck world. It's just a really bad one for the swan world. And one of the reasons is I don't really want to deal with somebody that really has to go into that level of depth to provide me with 6 hours of coaching. Why? How many bites of their energy bar do they take? It's the same logic as I mean, being precise is fine. You don't have to be obsessive about it. So if I got a bill from a restaurant and it said just how many grains of flour they used for my hamburger, I wouldn't necessarily welcome that, right? I don't care.
Exactly.
And why do you care how many grains have you used? Is it really that necessary for you to deal with this, right? So that's definitely a message that you can be sending. And this is something that I disagree with my co-author of my book. He says that people want to know how you calculated the price, and I mean, I agree that they want to know. They just usually giving them that information doesn't lead to anything good, because they don't they can do the math. However, I've seen these cases where people presented their price as in, I did 16 hours and my assistant did 11 hours. So we have like different rates. And this is done in the best of intentions. However, then the client comes in and says, yeah, but why did you, send me emails? Couldn't your assistant have done that? And then I would have paid $16.32 less, right? That's not a constructive argument that you want to get into. So
that's always happening. The same thing in the developing world. When you communicate, as we spoke previously, when you communicate the hourly rates and similar, it's only a matter of time when clients will stop asking you for the solution and start asking, okay, how many hours do you need to complete this task? And it's a problem by default.
Yes. I don't know if you remember, have we talked about why bikes are e-bikes are dangerous? You remember?
Yeah, it's here somewhere, but yeah, please.
I'll make it quick.
My mind.
I'll make it quick. So I've read that especially mountain bikes, like electric mountain bikes, are dangerous because in an in a normal bicycle, mountain bike, you don't really have the strength to go up a hill that you're not skilled enough to go down from. So you simply can't. It's much harder. It's much harder to get into a dangerously steep slope without an e-bike. With an e-bike, you can climb. That's not the problem, but you're not experienced or strong enough to go down that same hill, and then people crash. So what does this have to do with pricing and messaging? When you send such a message, so you allow people to go into the formula or easily compare you with a client. They think they can compare you, and they say, aha, Philip, you spend 16 hours on this, and that guy, his offer says 10. Right? Yeah, no. Firstly, I can do more in 10 hours than that person can do in 62. And secondly, who says that he wouldn't present you with a bill for 18, because mine is an offer and his is an estimate, and these things are absolutely not the same, and you have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, and the good old game with the hours. Okay, this is too expensive. No problem. We'll say, instead of, for example, $50 per hour, we'll be saying the price is 30 times the amount, more hours. We are on the same price, and that's it. If you agree, we agree, we push forward. It's a joke. It's a child game completely. And
people are used to it.
Yeah.
But when you don't have perfectly or at all comparable things, so that's always the difference. Getting somebody to wash your windows on the first floor, almost anybody can do this, so you don't really care who does this. But doing washing your windows on the 102nd floor, that now it matters who is doing it and what they're certified for and what's their tech and how are they insured and many different things. Technically, the work is the same, and it's absolutely not, right? Because you really don't want somebody to get hurt or and get you bad PR in the process by not looking at exactly who is going to do this and how, right? So in general, it's one of the reasons why it's a bad practice to simply copy prices. To simply call up a colleague and say, how much are you charging for this? Oh, okay, solved, right? And even the currency can tell you something. So I mean, technically, I can go and calculate my price in any currency. But if I calculate it in my own currency, of course you can go online and see what this is. So now it's not such an issue anymore, because now we're in the Eurozone. However, like 6 months ago, we were still on working with kunas, and I absolutely could say this is this much kunas, and then somebody absolutely could take like 10 seconds to find the conversion rate and see, oh, that's this many euros, this many dollars, right? However, the simple fact that I issued my price in kunas means that I probably usually don't work with international clients, which then the client has every right to start thinking, right, is he equipped for this? Will I be the first international client, or the second where he works out all of the kinks in the system, right? No, that lowers the value of what they can get. And at the same time, if I want to charge in euros, then okay, so this guy's obviously used to working with the rest of Europe or the US dollars. I've recently been asked, can I charge in New Zealand dollars? And it took me about an hour to see what would that entail, and I can over Revolut, and that's it. Australian dollars, yes. I think there's just simply enough tourists coming here, so our banks from Australia, so our banks want to use that. So even so, the amount, yes, but do you present it as a whole number, or do you present it as 0.96? That's one question. Do you issue it? In what currency do you issue it, right? And of course, there's the living standard connection, which is something that we like to preach about, right? If so I had a South African client that issued their price in US dollars. They just took their South African price, recalculated it into dollars, and presented it to an American client, and got laughed out of the building. Because that sounded suspiciously low, because living standards are way less costly, and what is a normal price in South Africa is not going to be a normal price in New York, and that's it, right? So there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can inadvertently say with your price, and that's one thing if you're creating it, but especially if you're using somebody else's, you have no idea how much attention they paid to this, and even if they did, what were they trying to say? And very often, what I see very often is people trying to mimic the duck world and say, oh, this is the best bargain. Do I really want the best bargain when I have a serious condition, when I have a serious court case? Am I searching for a bargain there? I wouldn't be so sure. So, take care, kids. You don't you might want to shock people into not knocking on your door to kick tires. Say, oh yes, very, very interesting. I'm going to think about it. If you set your price in a certain way, you're going to shoo away these people, and it will save their time and yours, right? So we can talk about an exclusive price, right? The same is, of course, true for volunteering discounts and all. So it is a practice on its own, but it also conveys a message. Right. And dropping prices and raising prices by itself sends a message. Even if you don't say anything, it sends a message. So people who have known me to have one price came back to talk to me after a few years, and my prices are higher now, and I don't have to say anything. They understand the message, right? So there's a lot of things that you can communicate in this way, and it can really backfire if you don't understand what you're doing, right?
And trying somebody else's practice because the person said, yeah, it worked for me, awesome, let's try it, right? The same thing as positioning your price in comparison to your body, as you mentioned today. Hello, my friend. What are you charging for this? Okay, awesome, my price will be the same, 10% up or down, that's it.
Usually down. Usually down, right?
Usually down.
And this is how you get to oof, the meat markets of you know, for logos and stuff, right? Where you can throw a bone and there's going to be hundreds of people throwing at it, throwing themselves at it because they have gone to the very bottom of bottoms, right? It's because usually the price setting is, you know, guesswork or copying other people's guesswork and going a little below, and then the next one goes below that, and the next one goes below that, and the next one moves to the countryside and goes below that, and this is how. So I've
Road to
literally
success.
I've literally had a client that sent me their competition because they said, please help her raise her price significantly because this is ridiculous. What she's offering is really, really good, and at this price, it makes the whole field look ridiculous, right? And no, this was a really, really good case, right? I mean, it's an unusual case to be sure, but this is really bad for industries, right?
Yeah. And depending also on the locale and the markets, no matter the niche, you'll find the bad patterns. So practically, we could organize a mission to handle, manage, and help and support those situations. Because no matter we are talking about branding, no matter we're talking about marketing agencies, development companies, you name it, all the
Copywriters.
expertise-based world have bad patterns implemented in terms of pricing, and it's a big challenge.
This is why when I say that most of my clients end up with like a 30% price hike, I know I risk sounding like an internet guru. It's not about me. I'm not magic. It's just most people are that underpriced.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of pressure to get their price down and basically no pressure to get it up. And combined with, I don't know, inflation, maybe, this leads into ridiculous situations, completely ridiculous, right? And probably the most catastrophic case that I know is an Australian lady that never worked with me in the end, but she was really skilled at getting people who are in debt to pay at least some of it without employing crowbars. And she was especially good at talking to women. And she would get a 6-figure number every week or 2 weeks back for her employer. And she was paid peanuts for years.
Yeah.
So she had like something that would be considered barely a bearable paycheck. And that kind of and even when she turned this into her own practice, her prices are silly. And this sends a message: I have no idea what my value is. You can feel free to use, abuse, and massively profit of my work. And this is a loud message, unfortunately.
Yeah. And people are using that. Massive.
That's not hard to find. So unethical people on the internet,
terrible.
So that's not a rare find, unfortunately, right? Because when you don't have to see somebody face to face, it's much easier to dismiss them and not see them as human and all of that jazz, right? So my point is, it's really important to understand that the price is one of the only things that the clients can understand about your offer. You really understand what you're doing and what you're offering. They don't. It's a word salad more often than not. But they do understand your price. So I had an example a long time ago, a theoretical one this time, where even if so let's say I'm in an Arabic speaking city and I can't read Arabic, but I can read their numerals. Thank you very much. So even if I don't know what somebody is offering, I can compare like something to eat with something else to eat by looking at their prices. And I don't understand the word of what they say or write. However, the prices I understand. So if I'm in a foreign city and I'm hungry, I'm probably not going to go for the cheapest thing to eat because that sounds risky. So I'm on holiday anyway. So what they're saying with their prices, they might think they're saying, you know, I'm the best buy. But it's for me that I don't understand the language. I don't understand the cooking. I don't understand the flavor profiles. Nothing. To me, they're saying I'm using better ingredients and I'm using worse ingredients, right? And this was not their intention, but this is how I will act. And especially if I'm buying something for my kids, right? Mm-hmm. Even so, if people are more prone to save money on products that they're going to use themselves, but for their business or for their dependents, for their kids, for their old granny, they're not going to risk it. And sometimes you can drive away people by trying to be the best market.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely.
So you think we've wrapped this up?
Yeah, I just want to mention one more cool example. Practically following yours with the crazy low price. Mm-hmm. One of my dear friends, also business partner, he's long time in IT infrastructure and networking. And for his career of 30 plus years of experience, he practically had the same pricing all the time. The funny side, not the funny, the bad side definitely of that story is the fact that he was one of several professionals on the market for several respectable technologies and still haven't demanding better price, etc., because it was convenient, it was a regular going rate for him. And we had a discussion, we had the conversation, made some of the changes and tweaks, which were absolutely necessary and cool, but for way too much time and too long, he was practicing the low pricing everywhere. And surely he had a ton of projects continuously, but financially, they were not profitable. He wasn't able to engage and pay additionally for the hands, for the people, for the resources who would be helping him. So he was swarming projects, constantly working and earning actually nothing. Never at home, always on terrain, and it took him quite time to make the paradigm switch, but it was very important. My message is, as fast as you can, understand that, address that, tackle that, manage and change, because the primary resource you have is the time. So if you are faster in your actions, you'll be faster getting to the results and reaching your goals as you go. And that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Where can people find you, Philip?
People can find me on LinkedIn, also on my consultancy page, philipzolota.com, and my agency page, maoya.agency.
I am more and more based on fearless-pricing.com and of course LinkedIn, but as of like last Monday, I am very much present both on YouTube and TikTok. and my other podcasts, so the Fearless Pricing podcast and the series What I Should Have Charged is now live, and next week it's going to be our episode.
Yeah.
There. So now we close the circle.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Now we close the circle. So dear listener, thanks for hanging around to hear the messaging in your pricing, and see you next time. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.